afternoon, it's Pamela from Yorkshire in the north of England. Just been out for a walk to collect my new glasses. What do you think? Going to take some getting used to, I think, though, because I've got a bigger reading part on this one. It's supposed to be going out with my crochet. And then I went and had my lunch in the cafe in the village. And just had a toddle back home. So here I am. I've done the mouse that was going to be my special one, you know, for Ellen of Mousy Makes Pod is doing a mouse along Mal, where you can use any craft to enter. Obviously has to feature a mouse. Obviously my craft is mainly crochet, so I've done a crochet one. I'd already done this one, if you remember, a couple of weeks back, which is like a modern, you know, fancy affair. It was just a bit of fun really with that one. But this one, I mean, I think she does look special, and that's why I wanted her, because I felt like she had an antique look. However, I don't like the pattern, but I'll explain that in a moment. So this is what was going to be my proper entry to the challenge. Now, I do love the finished item. I'm really happy with the finished item, but I have, like I say, I have lots of gripes about the pattern. That said, I've forgotten to bring the pattern in. Just bear with me one moment. I am back. So the pattern is one that I bought on Etsy, and if you remember, it's my first one that I've tried using entirely from off my tablet. That wasn't an issue. I did okay with it. So it's from Little Brambles Crochet on Etsy, and it's called the Seaside Mouse. And as I said at the time I bought it, there's quite a few designs that you can get. Same mouse, different designs of clothing. So I can't remember how much it was. I think it was £3.30, but if you look back on my last video, I did say how much it was. So it's that one there. Now it's supposed to be done in a duck egg blue, but I didn't have any duck egg, so I've done mine in lemongrass. But I'm quite happy. I mean, obviously it's still a seaside colour is green, you know, so I've got that. So yeah, now I'm going to explain why I don't like the pattern. So for a start, you've got to use 3 hook sizes. Now hers, I can't exactly remember which. I know the smallest is 2mm. Now I'm not using that finer yarn, so I did my usual 2.75mm for that. And where it's supposed to go up to, I went up to 3 or 3.5. If I felt it was necessary. Now it's a good job I didn't with the dress, because I did start it with the 3.5 as prescribed on the pattern, but it was obvious it was going to be way too big, so I went back down to my 2.75. Can you imagine how big that would have been if I'd have continued in 3.5? So that's wrong, I think. For me, with how I do it, totally wrong. Now, same with the scarf. It's like a collar. I've done it just in white because it was obvious it was going to be too big, and I thought this is going to come off. I'm not going to use this. So the collar, I just continued in white, but again, it was supposed to be something like 45 stitches, and I've done 30. And look how big it is, you know. So and that is with the same hook. Like she's done a 2mm hook. I've used 2.75 just like I have on the head and that, so it should be okay. The other thing was the hat was going to be too big, so I've had to do a modification there. So I ended up doing a turned up edge, because I was doing the treble crochets on the last round, that's UK trebles, on the last round, and it was going to be massive. So I thought, right, so I stopped increasing stitches 2 times below what she did. It fits now, but again, I probably won't keep that. The other thing I didn't like is that you work the head, which is fine, sideways on head, because obviously it has to be, because it's got a pointed nose. But then the body, you've got a closed top and you work from the top down, then you end up with like a seam across, and then you attach the legs to that seam. Now, I don't think her instructions are clear. In my book, I feel that I'm a good enough crocheter in order, well, I've on amigurumi, not everything, just amigurumi, I'm good enough at amigurumi to know how to proceed. I'm not sure everybody would. So that's another caution for you. This could be just a case of this lady's patterns aren't for me, because I don't want to dismiss any designer, because, you know, like I've said before, they're all way cleverer than me that can write patterns. But we don't all read patterns in the same way, do we? You know, and I think this one for me is not good. I can't see that a beginner would like it, but I would stand corrected. I would always stand corrected. So, like I say, by all means try it, but they're not that expensive patterns, but I don't think it's that good for a beginner. Just my opinion. And like I said, I think this is an odd way to do it. I think it could have been built a lot better, especially as you're doing the head sideways on anyway. Why can't you start at the bottom and bring the legs in, you know, as you would with most amigurumis, you know? If I were to make it again, which I'm not saying I won't, I would do that. I do think some of the pattern is vague, you know, like I say, it doesn't explain fully. And I don't like that. Even if you know what you're doing with them, I think if you're paying for a pattern, you should have nice, clear instructions. That's it really. It's a lot of sizing issues. I'm going to show you without the those little items on, but first of all I'll tell you what I used for it. So for the head, because I wanted it to look like a traditional little mouse, I did, when I got the Scapier's stone washed out to do that, the scarf on the dachshund. By the way, she absolutely loves the dachshund. I'm going to pop a picture in of her with the dachshund at this stage. So you can, oh yes, I'll do it here where I've mentioned it. And that were for Nick's mother, by the way, my mother-in-law. Anyway, when I got that out, I thought, oh, this one that I got for the German Shepherd, which was, I used the black and this colour. And this one is Scapier's stone washed. And I think it's sport weight, by the way. And it's in the colour Boulder Opal. And I thought, what a great colour for a mouse. So I've done the mousey bitch, which is literally only the head, ears and arms. In this one, but I do think it makes a lovely traditional little mouse. I'm really happy with that part of it. Like I say, for the dress, when I came to look, I had some pale blues but not a duck egg, which I always think duck egg's got a slight tinge of green. Anyway, I've had this colour for a while, which I've never used, and it's a Signet 100% cotton DK, which, as you know, is one of my favourites for amigurumi. And this is in the colour Lemongrass, which is a very pale green. Well, I say pale, but you know, it's a washy green. And I found that really, really goes well with this outfit. I like it. Plus, like I say, I find it vintage, like, you know, like maybe turn of the century type, you know, clothing, you know. So I thought, not this century, 1900s. And so I was thinking it, you know, like the paler colours looked right. So I've tried it, and you know, to say I'm a brights person ordinarily, although I do use lots of pastels as well, you know, I mean, I really do like most colour, even orange, which is my favourite colour. I you know, should they need her eyes, I will use it, you know. I like all colour, you know, I have to have colour in my life. So this one, I think it suits that sort of vintage look, you know. So I've used that. Then for the bloomers, which I'm assuming they are, you see, again, why not have the bloomers come up higher? If you're going to go for bloomers with the legs, haven't, but anyway, like I say, if I were to do it again, I would change all that. So I've just used the same stuff, Signet 100% cotton DK and the colour white for that one. By the way, I always find that when I'm doing this, that the DK weights that I get, you know, the British ones, go very well with like the sport weights. I've tried it now with the sport weight in Scapier's Stonewash, Scapier's Soft Fun, I think it is, and also what's the other one, Obi, their sport weight. They all seem to go with our DK. Don't know whether it's universal, whether, you know, American DKs or anywhere else in the world would do it, but it seems to do with this, because I do find that's on the slightly thicker side of sport, and these are sometimes a thinner side of DK than it is anywhere else, is my opinion. The soles of the feet, the soles of the boots, I've done in this scrap that I had, and I think it's James C. Brett in sand, but like I say, it's that long. It was a scrappy bit I had left, so I just have it in my scrap bag. And then for the boots, I used Sirdar Happy Cotton in Cookie, again a scrap out of my bag. And for the laces, which are very small, I've just used the same Sirdar Happy Cotton in Licorice. And I think that's all the colours. I've used 6mm eyes. The nose was in another scrappy bit of pale pink, which I haven't brought. It's the one I keep getting out for these things. By the way, it took me 4 attempts to get that nose right. Can you imagine, for a few strands? I'm still not 100% happy with it, but I kept doing it and I thought, this looks awful, you know. Yeah, I think I was just having one of those moments with this make. So there she is, fully clothed as she is now. Now I'm going to show it you without them on, the hat and the scarf, because I think I preferred it without, and I'm probably going to keep this one because, like I said, I did want a vintagey looking mouse. I think it's Ellen herself talking about Beatrice Potter and such like. It's got me in the mood to like do some of those sort of like styles, you know, where it's like, you know, all, you know, like where they look like how these animals used to be drawn, you know, in Beatrice Potter's time. So without, that is my little mouse, and I think I'm going to keep her like that without these on. I really like her without them. So what do you think? Yeah, a bit of a disaster that, really. I don't know why it come out so much bigger, because like I said, I'd followed her thinking with the upsizers, you know, but anyway, just the way it goes sometimes, I suppose. Anyway, so there you go. So I'm still going to enter her. I'm not entering each one separately, by the way. I'm just entering once. But yeah, so I've got, like I say, I've done what I wanted. I've got like a, you know, like a Edwardian, I think. I'm going for Edwardian look, I think, with this one. Yeah, so there we go. That's so that's that. Now, you know, I've had a washcloth phase. This is the ones I were doing in this Stylecraft cotton. So that's just, I've shown them before. This is like I like a Suzette stitch. It's my favourite combination stitch. My favourite stitch, you know, like single stitches, the half treble crochet, which is half double crochet in US terms. But yeah, I love this for washcloths. I've used it for Kindle cases, iPad cases. I used to make for charity, you know, to send them with the WI. So I've made loads of stuff with the Suzette cases. I've got none of them left apart from one Kindle case. But yeah, I absolutely love it. It looks so neat and lovely, you know. So I've done the half treble all the way around. Like I say, it depends what mood I'm in when I've finished as to what I do it in. I originally followed a tutorial from Blossom Crochet for this washcloth. She recommended a starting chain of 32, but as she says in a tutorial, you know, you can really go for whatever width that you want to. So just a tip for you, if you want it, I know it's a boring subject, is washcloths, but I either do my washcloths, I think I've said it before, in 32, 42 or 52, which gives me a finished size of either 8, 9 or 10 inches, thereabouts, depending what cotton I use. This one is about 9 inches because I've went for 42 to start. Really easy to do, but like I say, effective. I've never turned one out that's looked scruffy. I've sold them at you know, charity stand at church, and people seem to like them. So anyway, that's just my tip on washcloths, but honestly it's really a nothing item, but I just wanted to tell you that's how I do them, and I churn out loads of them. Tuesday I went to an exhibition down in Barnsley, and it was Brian Wildsmith, who was a Barnsley artist actually. I mean, he's dead now, but you know, for much of the, I think he might have died in 2000s actually, I'm saying. But yeah, he were around a lot from in 1900s, and he did a lot of writing children's books, and he obviously was an illustrator. Now, really lovely use of colours. I absolutely adore the colours he uses because they're bright. His patterns have been turned into, you know, I mean, they were selling mugs in the museum shop. There were material, everything. It's been converted into all sorts of things. Anyway, you know, my friend's expecting a grandchild. I know her daughter, by the way. That's why I'm so interested. You know, you know, I've known her all her life, and she's. I made that tutti fant a few weeks back. Still waiting for the baby to be born now. Seriously overdue. So we've been suggesting curries and all sorts for her. But anyway, I found that there were some of the books for sale, the children's books. I've got the little wooden duck, and I just thought that, I mean, like this, you know, the colours in the illustrations, you know, I think they're lovely. So yeah, look, they all flutterbys, you know, I think it's so pretty. So yeah, I got her that to go with it. I mean, it's obviously too old for a newborn, but you know, it'll go on the bookshelf and it'll be ready for when the child's reading. So I got that. I don't think I've much else to tell you. I'm going back to working on my Vera because obviously I need to get that done by the end of the month. That is the deadline, by the way, for by hook or by crook. Still plan to do an update, hopefully. I feel like I'm running out of time now, but you know, I've got that, you know, where you're on, you know, you're stressing about time, and I don't know why. But anyway, I think that's me done for now. I hope I've told you everything that I needed to. Oh, by the way, I use a 4mm hook for those, for the washcloths. I think that's it. Anyway, I hope you have a smashing weekend and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you.